Mark Rogers TV breaking down ACC positional units with a number of conversations with guys like Jim Hammett from Cardiac Hill breaking down the Panthers. Jim, it's always a pleasure. Let's look at cornerback. Avonte Maddox, obviously the guy that jumps off the stat sheet. If you're reviewing who's coming back from 2015, 75 tackles and 3 picks, so he kind of sets you up at corner.
Yeah, Avonte Maddox he's the returning starter here, and he had a mostly good season, but there were times, kind of towards the end of the year where teams started to figure him out, and part of that's probably with his size. He's a little bit undersized at 5'9", maybe 5'8", but the coaches still like him. They like a lot of things he can do, a lot that he can bring to the table. It's just maybe a little position change here and there, maybe some technique. But Narduzzi has produced a lot of great defensive backs in his time at Michigan State, so they see something in him. He's a junior, starting experience. They really like him, and he's going to have to lead a group of maybe some younger guys.
Yeah, speaking of those younger guys, who else is in the mix?
You have Damar Hamlin. He's kind of the big prize recruit for Pitt this year. He's out of Pittsburgh Central Catholic, led his team to a state championship here in Pennsylvania. He chose Pitt over a Final Four of Penn State, Ohio State, and Notre Dame. It was a big recruiting win for Pitt to keep the local talent at home. And Hamlin's going to step in, and he, maybe like a Jordan Whitehead or a Tyler Boyd, where some of those local 4-star players from Pittsburgh, they make an impact right away. And Hamlin has a lot of expectations on him. There's also another freshman that they really like is Theron Coleman out of the Pittsburgh City League. Sometimes that area can be overlooked, some of the inner city schools, but Coleman's a very talented player, pretty highly recruited himself, had offers from a number of Power 5 schools. So those are two guys that could be competing for a starting position on the other side at corner. They're moving on from Lafayette Pitts, who was a 4-year starter at corner. So there's a big void open right now, and the two true freshmen actually seem like the most talented ones for the job.
All right, let's look at the safety position. It starts and ends with Jordan Whitehead, amazing as a freshman, 110 tackles, 7 tackles for loss, picked off a pass as well. You've got some guys in the mix that are just stepping on campus. That has to be a concern to a certain extent that are going to have to get some playing time, but you get a couple of veterans at least vying for the other safety spot.
Yeah, it's talking on Jordan Whitehead a little bit. It's almost at the point where I think Pitt fans would say it's either him or James Conner as the best player on the team. Jordan Whitehead has really vaulted up. He's on the Jim Thorpe watch list. I mean, he's garnered all the attention you would imagine. And we saw a little bit last year, kind of that Jabril Peppers plays a little offense, special teams, does it all, and that's what Jordan Whitehead is. He's a big part of the run stop on defense. And obviously he can make plays defending the pass. So Whitehead's one of the best safeties in the country. I don't think there's any doubt about that. So Pitt feels pretty good with him, even as a sophomore anchoring the secondary. On the opposite spot, though, there is some experience there. You have a guy like Terrish Webb and Reggie Mitchell, 2 seniors. They've both been kind of competing for this job for a couple years now. Mitchell was hurt last year. I think Webb was hurt the year before that. So it's kind of always been back and forth. But both have made plays in their career. Terrish Webb was a high school teammate of Tyler Boyd at Clarendon High School. Reggie Mitchell is a Wisconsin transfer. Both have played a lot of games in their career. Mitchell's even played a little bit of corner. So he's a versatile player. So, Pitt feels pretty comfortable with the 2 veterans there. But as of right now, it's hard to say which one's jumping ahead of the other.
To his senior season, 28 tackles, couple picks. Henry Miller was highly recruited coming out of high school. Florida, 44th rated cornerback, probably switching at least early in his career. So George Hill, that's a guy that you threw in before we came on as a couple guys that could play very early.
Yeah, they're both 2 very highly talented defensive backs. And you kind of seen the theme here that the recruiting class was very defensive back and even defensive line heavy. Narduzzi saw a little void on the defense. He went after it last year and tried to get a bunch of talent. Henry Miller, a big 6'3" defensive back, and you almost look at him and could see him growing into a linebacker. He has that kind of speed and athleticism, but you don't see many defensive backs these days, 6'3" and 6'4". So he's one to watch down the line. Maybe not this year, but he's one Pitt fans are very excited about. And George Hill, state sprinting champion Ohio, just a speedster. They're not sure if they want to throw him on offense or defense. They just want to get him on the field. 4-star recruit, picked Pitt over Michigan State. So Hill's another talented guy, and he could be right in that mix with Hamlin and Coleman at the second cornerback spot.
So we talked D-line, we talked defensive backs today, Jim. It seems on paper that the frontline talent is high-end ACC. Depth could be an issue and really need some unproven freshmen to step up. So are you fairly confident?
It's hard to say. Like you said, Jordan Whitehead, he's great, but if he goes down, then what are you looking at? That's kind of where Pitt is right now as a program, and that happens a lot with the coaching changes. You got guys transferring, guys coming in and out. Narduzzi's bringing in the players he wants to play with, and perhaps the last staff's guys don't really fit what he wants. So I think you see that a lot, a second-year coach, and there's always, you have a couple good players, but beyond that, it gets really shaky really quickly.
If you follow college football, you know about Jordan Whitehead, but Jim Hammett jumps in and helps us break down the entire unit at safety and corner for the Pitt Panthers. Jim Hammett from Cardiac Hill. Jim, we always appreciate it.
Yep, thanks for having me.